Once again, chat. My curse. We keep Vengeance in the matchup? No. Why did I just mulligan the Catalyzer? I don't know. I'm a genius, I guess. I'm looking at chat. But, my ability to queue into, like, really, really vicious counters to whatever I'm playing continues to hold true. That's why I hate mid-range. The whole always curve out 1, 2, 3, 4 is boring. And that's not true. I think that mid-range is boring when their 1, 2, 3, 4 is just ignorantly better than everybody else's 1, 2, 3, 4. And I've seen, it's a very nuanced conversation because I forget who tweeted it, where essentially mid-range metas are bad because in order for mid-range to be meta, it has to be better than everything else in a really, really, toxic way, essentially. And I think that mid-range shouldn't be the best archetype in the meta. It should just be playable. Right? Of course, they got Akshan on 2. I've got Catalyzer on 2, though, so it's okay. Quicksand is fine. Do I think I have to wallop here in order to protect my Catalyzer. Wallop isn't really going to save me versus Lee Sin because of Deny and Nopify and Rite of Negation and stuff. This is pretty risky to play Veigar here because of Merciless Hunter, but if I pass, they'll just pass. But a really good example of what I think is good mid-range, like good, the appropriate power level of mid-range is Dragons. Because Dragons can build has a solid mid-game good foundation, some flexibility, but has to choose between building lower to the ground anti-aggro stuff or greedy top-end stuff. So you're able to exploit it on either end. Kind of like how, honestly, like the patch where like they buffed Dragons and they buffed like Dragon's Clutch and everybody was like, yo, bro, you're overdoing it with the Dragons. I don't know about that one, Chief. Like, I understood that Dragons is an incredibly exploitable archetype. Dragons is pure stats. Shen, J4, and Ashe are better examples of fair mid-range. Dragons are... Dragons lose to the kind of stuff that those sorts of decks should lose to, though, right? It does have big stats, but they don't have the level of, like, raw, like, answers for every single situation and ignorance that modern decks do. Why are people with the Heimerdinger emotes? Like, too bad you want to play your Eye of the Dragon so soon. When mid-range is good, I'm bored because it's a stat check game. When mid-range is good, it's usually because they have access to things they aren't supposed to have or traditionally have, or they aren't paying enough mana for those things. Like, when mid-range has access to like negates and stuff like that, that's where it becomes an issue. If Dragons are top dog, it'll feel like a Lowy Bard, I think. Dragons used to be quote-unquote top dog, but when they played like anti-aggro stuff, you would just play greedy stuff. And when they played like greedy Aurelion Sol stuff, they'd have to cut their early game and they'd lose to aggro. If it's Ashe, it'll never be dominating across the board. Ashe was S tier one time, but that was because the meta game was completely different. Like, we just didn't have, how do I put it? We had a much lower power level at the time. And basically, because the power level of the game has gone up, mid-range's power level has gone up. Like, we've got a lot of mid-range decks in the metagame that are very strong, but don't rally to end games. And I think that's very interesting to me. Where at one point, rally was like the only thing keeping mid-range archetypes relevant. Still fine, I think. Yo, Mythical Brit, what's up, homie? Just playing some Runeterra. They've got the Hourglass. I could go for Pokestick Vile Feast. No, we're chilling. Noxus, Darkness, Tibalt. Hmm.
What is gained when we return malevolence?
I know that there's been a lot of players who have been trying to brew with Veigar and other archetypes. So the Waking Sands is just to activate the Eyes of the Dragon. So that's fine. When Ashe was top dog, you could always load aggro and shift the meta, unlike with stat check decks that beat aggro, beat control, and beat other mid-range. Ashe, yeah, that's fair to say. Ashe had, like, really, really good stats on average with, like, Hearthguard and Yetis and Trifarian Assessor. But exactly, you're kind of proving my point, though, Luigi, is that as long as a mid-range deck loses to some other available archetype, you're feeling pretty good. Just Pokey Stick, take a little bit less damage. I mean, I do have Event Horizon. My opponent could have Twin Discipline. Everybody's BM emoting today. The meta has driven everybody absolutely bonkers. Everybody has been driven up the wall, chat. Like, everybody and their mother is becoming so toxic. Well, they don't have Deny anymore, so now we can just do that. You actually like this meta? To be fair, if you like a meta deck, then you're probably having a blast. To be perfectly honest. They've got Sentinel's Horde, so, like, they can resurrect the Akshan. They're going to be doing the Spell Shield thing, so I think it's actually better for me to kill Akshan here. This meta is fun, different strokes for different folks. I mean, Powder Monkey is super fun. But the thing is that the last couple metagames, we've, like, really been missing out on proper interaction, the way players like. We play a lot of decks that are like, I'm going to do my strong thing, and you're going to do your strong thing, and whichever of us does our strong thing or does it fastest is winning. They're running Absolver and Supercharge? That's wild. Got Des and Ada here. Ooh. Oh, man, the Des and Ada is pretty sad if they have Deny. So I think that we just play Curve. Because they have to play 2 more spells anyway to get more Dragonlings. Like, I really liked the Red Viego meta because I was kicking its ass with Annie Ezreal. That deck was also a blast to play. This is the thing that bothers me the most. It feels like every deck is old Lee Sin now. Generally, yeah. Yeah, like, look, there's Supercharged. Now it has Overwhelm and Spell Shield, and I've got to do Vile Feast to preemptively pop the... Yeah, it does pop the Spell Shield before the barrier. So then we get another Veigar. I like the Aurelia Azir meta because I farmed it with my Mono Fiora. Bro. I know there were some people who were like, I like that Aurelia Azir. And they drew 3rd Supercharge? Bruh. They're spending all their mana on Absolvers, though. Okay, we win. We've got Spell Shield plus Event Horizon. Okay, they played 2 Absolvers and 3 Supercharged, so I think we're actually fine. So we put Event Horizon and Vile Feast on the stack. So that stuns all of those guys. Huh? Oh, Dragon's Rage still resolves. That's right. We just don't take the double damage from Lee. If I transposition... then Veigar just disappears and we take 8. We take 8 regardless. So it's better for me to transposition the Veigar. No, we die that way. We have the Vile Feast here. Survive with 2 HP. We can Purple Berry Shake over here to kill this Eye of the Dragon. And then my opponent is just out of gas. Okay. And so now we can Darkness the Eye of the Dragon. Play Veigar in Darkness again. And then we get an 8 mana Darkness. They can't... Lee Sin still has Spell Shield. So then we do 8 plus Destin Ada is 16. Yep. Shuriman Tellstones. I thought it was adjusted not... What? Desit's Vedic? It says all enemy targets. I guess we science it? With leveled up Veigar in play, it hits face. I think that's the way it goes. I think you have to have leveled up Veigar in play for Destinate to hit face. The subtitles are on my end. They're run through webcaptioner.com. Ooh, Lulu Juice emote goes to the Shadow Realm. Sorry, buddy. There's a lot of very, very cool decks that just lose to them, or just are worse versions of them. Ugh. I think Kai'Sa's problem is that Kai'Sa doesn't have a lot of interaction. She gets bored and you have half a turn to react. Pretty much. That's how a lot of people feel about Kai'Sa. I forget the Darkness versus Thralls matchup. I think we were favored at one point in time, but I think the meta has forced our deck to go into a weird direction where we don't have the hard counters we used to. Call it like League of Evil or something. Yeah, you could get like Wizened Wizard maybe. One of those options they might cut. I'm going to play Buru Sentinel here. Getting extra damage on the Darkness doesn't really matter. What's this wizard you keep talking about? Wizened Wizard it's like a 4 mana 3/2 or something like that. And every turn, it refills 1 spell mana. So, like, you're able to develop it, and then it keeps giving you mana to keep playing on curve, but still giving you, like, spell mana to keep your darknesses in circulation. So they use the Quicksand. That's actually pretty good for me. Next round, they're going to have Sands of Time. So the second Catalyzer development isn't that great. I could go Bird the Bellringer into Conchologist. It's not really that good either. I think I've got to do Catalyzer. I've got to get Darkness stacked up so Senna can at least, like, double down on a Darkness to kill a Thrall. And do we develop further? We'll play Bird. I wonder what they're going to do with Kai'Sa. Like, if they're going to make Evolve, like, 7 keywords, or if, like, Kai'Sa's going to lose Quick Attack base, or if they're going to move her to 6. There's a lot of different ways for them to approach it, for sure. Veigar's really good, because this deck actually can't deal with Veigar. Open attacking into the Sands of Time is also kind of rough. I could develop Veigar first, to see if my opponent will spend mana to tap under that. So they do have the Sands of Time. So they get to kill my other Catalyzer, and then they get to use the, what's the name to get a Thrall. It's only 1 Thrall, though. Yeah, we Darkness the 2/2, so that our Buru Sentinel gets bigger, so we can block the Thrall. I'm gonna play Rogue Maker this turn.
Lord Veigar, you cannot rush perfection.
And we might actually be fine here now.
Darkness and light.
I think we're chilling. Congratulations, everyone.
Let's put these rocks into motion.
My opponent has to, like, very specifically set up a turn where both of these thralls hatch on the same turn. If I attack with Senna, there is chance of second quicksand to take away our quick attack. But I guess I just pivot to darkness.
Eyes forward. Keep your distance.
To just maybe punch down. Oh, they just take the hit. Cool. So next turn we've got 5 attack darkness, 5 damage darkness, so we can hit this Inquisitor. Okay. Yeah, I'm really, like I said, after the stream, I'm going to be on the Riot Roundtable. They're having another one. So I'm going to get a nice look at the patch and give them my feedback and opinions. I won't be able to talk about what I see, of course, but I'll just be able to give you guys the good vibes of, you know, how I'm feeling about it personally. To be honest, I didn't know it was today. I actually read the dates wrong. I thought it was on a different day. Ooh, they want to end the round, though? We definitely got to kill this Draklorn. I wonder how this works. It's round to end, so they're just killing their own guy, denying the Veigar level up by just a smidge. I think we could have ended the round there.
My journey won't end until I'm through leading it.
I mean, we could have, but when it comes to darkness versus thralls, it's always better for them to keep the board state the same. Right? I'll be spending that time, like, preparing for my trip to London. So I'm gonna kill Lysandra here. Take away Tough Nexus so it's easier for Veigar to punch through. I guess I just play second Rogue Maker here as well. I guess I should have played Rogue Maker first and then played that other Darkness, so then I save 1 mana. So, big Lamau on my part. Attack with Senna. This will level up Veigar. You could also play the Buru Sentinel. But this plays around them having, like, oh, they have another Sands of Time. Okay.
You're ruining everything. If only you were made of rock.
Rite of Negation? Veigar Kindred is a bit slow. The key to Darkness decks is Senna. Like, in a game where you don't draw Veigar versus a game where you don't draw Senna, like, if I had to choose which one of your 2 champions is going to be on the bottom of the deck, it's better to have Senna than Veigar. Because Senna can just, with Stilted Roadmaker's help, can still generate a bunch of 0 mana deal 2s at fast speed to stuff, just basically start getting, like, crazy Mystic shots. And then you also have Dawning Shadow as a champion spell, which just blows people out of the water. It is very matchup dependent, but in a broad sense, having Senna first before Veigar pays off a little bit better. Especially with Stilted Roadmaker. Senna, Stilted Roadmaker are like the true power behind this list, in my opinion. In my experience, I should say. I've played a ton of Darkness. I was a Darkness hipster. Yeah, I've had games where I've played Veigar, played 1 Darkness, and then he just sits there. Darkness is ooh-woo control. There was like a Veigar, I'll take Mark of the Isles, because getting +2, this is like heal 2. Vile Feast you. There was some kind of like really, really cheesy, I think it was Freljord Veigar, where you just played Veigar, and then, you just, like, used in tree and, like, a bunch of defense to just keep Veigar alive until you had, like, a 9 damage darkness stacked up, and then your opponent would just get 2-shot. I think it was a cephalopod build. It was, like, super trolly to, like, exploit the meta at the time. So we can just send this darkness to the Nexus. They've already used a quicksand and 2 sands of time. So, like I said, I'm just going to do this because I'm taking 2 less overwhelm damage with the Mark of the Isles. The 6-mana lifesteal that copies it onto the Nexus, does that work with Karma? Karma would duplicate the darkness onto its initial target, but I don't know if it stacks with Ishtali Sentinel's effect to make the second darkness duplicate onto the Nexus as well. If you could main deck darkness, yes, this deck would be very, very, very good. 3 Sisters Flash Freeze is fine. They just want to keep their Thrall alive. But all I cared about was not taking a ton of damage there. And if I really wanted to, 7 plus 8 is... No. I was thinking I can kill the Draklorn, so I don't have to worry about all these Thralls. But with Veigar, they just die. Because I get a darkness, then I attack with Senna, and I get another darkness.
Keep your distance.
Sheesh, and another Senna. And now we ask our opponent the question, do you have Rite of Negation? We don't put both on the stack, obviously, so we don't get scooped. We can play this darkness and then play Senna for another darkness. Wow. That matchup was cash.